I'm Mac Beatty. I'm an advocate for people with disabilities in my community, as well as myself. I think my experiences influenced my advocacy in ways that I never thought were possible growing up. My childhood was rough, because I had tunnel vision for a while on just how I was broken, I was damaged goods. Once I kind of opened my eyes and widened my vision a little bit to see what I can do with my damage, what I can do with my struggles, and how I'm not the only person with them. I found the power in telling my story and the freedom as well. My living situation has changed a lot over the last several years. I was in group home from when I was 13 till I was 20. I decided, hey, I think I'm ready to go out on my own, and I got my own place. But I really struggled because I dropped too many supports. So much was going on with my mental health, and there was a lot of paperwork things that you need to do when you get an apartment, and I wasn't doing those. I wasn't staying on top of those, so eventually I lost that apartment after a year, and I was homeless. The moment I started making mistakes is when guardianship became a conversation. Here's the concern with that too, is every person, once they turn 18, is gonna make mistakes. But guardianship isn't brought up for other people without disabilities who make mistakes. We've been so limited and made to feel so limited that decision making has always kind of been taken away. And I think it's something that always is expected to be limited. I think it's important for that to change. I was able to pick up some more resources and supports, and once I kind of did that, I kind of felt a bit more confident in my stability, because things have been unstable for so long, and I got into a program where I could live with some friends, live with some people, and still have some supports from trained caregivers if I need some support. But I think that experience of dropping all those supports and seeing how that affected me has empowered me to see that I can have some support, that I'm in control of, and who I give it to and how much I give to without giving it all away. I always like to spend time with people I live with here. We've gone out and we've actually done like adult things. You know, we've been to a bar, you know, we've been to nightclubs, we've been to have dinner out. I think that's important as an individual, as an adult, feeling that ability to do that. So yeah, we hang out a lot. I went to Aloha High School, go Warriors, but I still like to stay involved with the school. This year I'm going to be helping a lot with the journalism department, helping them get set up, helping teachers and students get familiar, as I was in that program as a kid. I liked learning all the different ways of getting information, ways of talking to people, spreading information in different ways. I think journalism was definitely a stepping stone and an inspiration in me getting into advocacy. Started getting involved with the Oregon Council on Developmental Disabilities around 2016. I started coming on as a visitor, as a guest, kind of contributing a little bit as I could, and January of 2020, I was officially appointed as a member by Governor Brown, and that was always a highlight of my advocacy in that how wide I can spread my voice and what I've learned and experienced. I've always used and valued that platform. I think it's crucial that we lead in our own advocacy, because nobody knows us better than we know ourselves, and I think we know what we need best. It's important, and I think it's always reflected in the work the council does, is that self-advocate role. Supported decision-making is a concept and a practice that is an alternative to the traditional form of guardianship. Supported decision-making is a way that people can choose who they want to support them and how they want them to support them, in an agreement between everybody that is respectful. If you just need a little bit of support with this one aspect but not this other aspect, there's different areas where people need support and different areas where people don't need support. And I think respecting that, and that's what that agreement or that conversation is for, in supported decision making, is where you need help and where you don't. Guardianship has been all or nothing, and it's not flipping those two sides and making it all or nothing for me. It's kind of blending the two and including both in a respectful and dignified way. When people take that choice away from us, for us to make that decision for ourselves is just reinforces that feeling that we're not enough. I think that's starting to shift in the way that things are moving and the way that people are speaking out. And I think now is the perfect time to keep building and building on the work that we do as advocates in our community to make sure that that's the way it is, that that's the way that we do things, is making sure our voices are the first voice and the last voice in the conversation. And I also think it's important that we integrate more mental health supports in disability supports as well. I think that those two conversations have often been so separate because you only get supports if you get a diagnosis. And I think mental health is something that everybody experiences whether you have a diagnosis or not. Everybody has a different word for it, but you don't need this clinical word in order to struggle with it and get support with it. Self-advocacy is us. It's our voice, it's the future. We show what we've been through, we show how we grew through it, how we're using supports, and using that helps broaden the advocacy work of everybody else to help change things so that people don't have to experience the things that we've been through. But my vision is I want to go back to school, back to college, and study hard and build a lot of those skill sets even further that I've already built to do what I'm passionate about, and that's advocacy and working to change the climate and the conversations to reflect what we need in our lives. My story is what I've been through and how I've overcome it. And my story is not just mine alone. I have a lot to be proud of that I'm not done yet. You know? I've still got things to do, things to prove, I think for a long time I was proving other people wrong, and now I think I'm just proving myself right, that I can accomplish these things on my own for myself. But I think it's also important to just acknowledge that I'm more than my struggles. I'm more than everything I've been through. I'm more than this diagnosis I may have. I'm more than the supports I need. I'm more.
Audio Jungle.